Jocko, I want to hear your thoughts on over-detachment. I'm a police officer, and I'm sure military personnel experience the same. Over-detachment, defined as emotional separation from moments which require emotional response in family and profession. So what are your thoughts on over-detachment?
Yeah, this is definitely, obviously, I'm always encouraging people to be able to detach.
Right.
Because that's how you get your emotions out of the situation. But this happens too. What my brother right here is talking about, this police officer is saying, hey, sometimes, what do you think about being over-detached? And this is something you need to watch out for. Because you don't want to go through your life where you have no more emotions. Because then you're not living a life, then you're a robot or a machine. And you need to have emotions. So as I thought about this, I thought, how did I watch out for that? And it's something that creeps in on anybody that does anything. You don't even have to be a cop or a military person. I mean, you could do, if you're any job that you have, where you can't just get all emotional about stuff. If you're in finance, if you're anything, you could just become detached. So what do you look out for? Well, one thing that I did and still do is compartmentalize and draw a little segregation between work and home. And there's a really easy way to do that, especially for people that are cops, or it doesn't matter what you do. Whatever that uniform is that you wear at work, whether you're a cop, whether you're military, or whether you're wearing a business suit at work, when you get home, take off that uniform. Take it off. Matter of fact, if you can, take it off before you get home.
Yeah.
Leave it at the office.
Yeah.
Because you want to leave that there. And when you get home, put on the home clothes, right? The T-shirt, the comfortable T-shirt, the flip-flops, the shorts. Be relaxed at home. But be physically in a different uniform at home. Not even a uniform, in a different, change your appearance and therefore change your state of mind a little bit. Different music, right? Whatever it is that you're listening to at work, go to something different at home.
Yeah.
You know, when you're going into work, listen to the first hour of Jocko Podcast. When you're coming home, you listen to the second hour, right? That's how we do it.
Sure.
You know, you want to have a different attitude. The different language, right? Don't come home throwing around the acronyms from work.
Yeah.
And, I've talked about this before. I never swore at home. I swore like hell at work, but I never swore at home. So I was using a different language. So I was completely compartmentalizing what I was doing at work and what I was doing at home. And then check out your posture. What are you standing around your house like? Are you standing all cross-armed and glaring at people? Let's just ask the question: are you in a modified Weaver stance when you're talking to your wife, getting ready to do a quick drop?
What is
it's like a pistol shooting stance. Like no.
Yeah.
Are you digging for underhooks if your kid's trying to give you a hug? You know what I mean? Are you looking to get the takedown? No.
Yeah.
You want to relax, right? And another thing is find some, maybe a group of people that aren't involved in your work. And that could be hard. I mean, and luckily for me, my wife made friends that were outside of the SEAL community. And so I got a bunch of buddies that had nothing to do with the SEAL teams.
They were friends of
they were friends of my wife's
Yeah.
friends and husbands of my wife's friends. So I had a whole group of people that I still hang out with all the time. They have nothing to do with the military at all.
Yeah.
In fact, many of them are about as far as you could get from military personnel as one could imagine.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that helped me segregate the two. Now, of course, I'm not saying you got to let your guard down 100% because you shouldn't do that. But you should let it down enough that you can enjoy life, and you gotta detach sometimes. Now, that being said, because it is gonna help you make good decisions, but there are also times where it's not good. And if you're detached and your wife's trying to talk to you, it's not gonna be good.
Yep.
So open up. You got to show some emotions. And one of the things about being detached, here's a paradox. You got to be detached enough so that you recognize when you're not showing enough emotions.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If you're so detached that being detached should allow you to realize that, oh my God, I'm not showing any emotions at all. I'm too detached.
Yeah.
So don't try and be a tough guy that's just being detached, because if you're detached enough, you'll realize that you're being too detached.
Yep. Yeah, and there is too deep. Well, obviously, like if you're in a debate, argument, fight, whatever, with your girlfriend, wife, right? And you're detached. Let's say you're right. Let's say you are right. Mm-hmm. You know how
That has nothing to do with anything when you're arguing with your wife, does it?
generally speaking, no. In my experience, yeah. Well, I would agree with that in my experience. But here's the thing, though, because you're looking at a
That's for
certain
real.
way.
I just want to make that statement again. When you're in an argument with like your wife or your close friend or your boss, your subordinate, whether you're right or not almost doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
What matters is what you're trying to do, what
Yes.
direction you're trying to move. Mm-hmm. And is winning the argument, being right or wrong, going to help you move in the direction you want to move in? That's the real question.
Yeah.
So detach for a minute and figure out the answer to that question.
Yes.
Because I never care if I'm right or wrong. That's never my goal in an argument with something. Did I say never? Okay. I usually don't care.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of times people do care whether right or wrong.
Oh my God, do they care? People go psycho on being right or wrong.
Yeah,
they want to prove beyond, like a reasonable doubt, all questions denied.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 100% right, you're wrong.
Yeah, and so even when people are wrong, they'll still want to just win the argument, right? So that's bad. What can be even worse is when you are right, yet the other person is, let's say your wife is emotional, because, man, this is a known thing, that the girls, generally speaking, they want to know that you care more so than they want you to fix their problem. Like if your wife is having a problem at work or something,
you're right.
They just want you to care that that's going on with them. They don't want like all this freaking advice, that generally speaking, I'm not going to categorize there. It's not black and white, but generally speaking. So let's say you're in a debate or some, I say debate, you're in an argument, you're in a fight, and you're right. And let's say you are right. If you're all detached and being like, well, here's the logic behind why I'm right, and you have this airtight case, that's not going to help your relationship. No. She wants to know, first off, that you care. She's mad, she's sad, she's whatever. Do you care about that? That's the way you win, not the argument. That's the way you win the situation.
Yes.
And so not only do you get out of the fight intact as a relationship, but you're the good guy. Mm-hmm. And really, that's part of the reason why she likes you, because you're the good guy, right? That's a win-win. I would agree. So yeah, that
actually, I sometimes question why my wife likes me at all, but hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it.
But so detach so you see that, but be attached because you care.
Yes. Yes.
And show that you care. That's my opinion.
And then when you go back to work, you're a cop, you're a military person, you're a business person, put your uniform back on, put your boots back on, put your body armor back on, lock and load, and get back in the detachment zone and move forward. Now, the question kind of implies this too, and I will point this out. I mean, at work, you also can't just be detached all the time because you're a leader. You're in a leadership position. Right. So you can't just walk around just detached from everybody. No, you got to show emotions. You got to relate to the people you're working with. You got to be a human so that they follow you or you follow them or whatever the case may be. So the detachment, you have to be detached enough to recognize when you're being too detached.
Yeah.
Lesson of the day. Yeah.